This is TWiT. This one you'll like, Mike, because you've been saying for a long time Sundar Pichai is one of the worst CEOs in technology. He's not one of the worst paid. He is going to get $226 million for last year's efforts. Compensation included in every 3 years stock award valued at more than $200 million. So $250 million going to Sundar Pichai for running Alphabet into the ground.
And Google, I think isn't he the CEO of both Alphabet and Google, which is weird.
Yeah.
And you know, compare his salary to Tim Cook's. I'm sure that I don't know what it is offhand, but it's a fraction of that. And should the CEO of Google really be making a lot more than the CEO of Apple? Apple's killing it. Google's seems to be kind of on the decline. So it's just not fair. These billionaires just don't. It's just so unfair.
I mean, you can compare that to what was it? Andy Jassy's salary last year. He earned $317,000.
What?
Yeah.
That's it? Did he get any stock or anything? Is that?
He got stock, but Amazon stock is down quite a bit.
There's your problem.
Martin Peers wrote a pretty contentious briefing on this recently called Andy Jassy Needs a Raise, which, made a lot of friends in the newsroom and far beyond. But I do think it's kind of an interesting point that you are looking at the leader of a massive company undergoing a very difficult period of time, and his pay in comparison to anyone else is pennies.
Well, and to the point of Tim Cook, it's $3.4 million is his base salary, and his bonus is between $8 million and $12 million. So it's a tiny fraction of what Sundar Pichai is getting, and that's just out of whack.
Yeah,
they both make way too much for sure. But
yeah,
what's the solution at Google? You get rid of Sundar? What do you do? Hire Elon?
I have no idea. Yeah.
I think Elon should be the head of every company. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? I personally, Elon, would be glad to allow you to run TWiT for a couple of bill. That's all.
I'd like to see a visionary of some kind. I mean, you got all kinds of politicians. I'm sorry, politician-like CEOs who've come in and turned around companies. I mean, if you look at the previously worst CEO in technology was Steve Ballmer.
Yeah, and look at what Satya Nadella has done.
Exactly. Turned it around.
Yeah.
He found its niches, is actually doing really well. And so, they need a guy like that and at Google, not a sort of bureaucrat who just has no vision and for example, I'll give you an example. The fundamental oversimplified reason that Google is always closing things and it pisses off users all the time across many, many products is because they have an incentive structure on Google that highly incentivizes engineers to create new products, and there's almost no incentivization of maintaining or improving products. And so they create these great products, they get all these users invested in it, and then they slowly upset everybody until they kill it, and at which point nobody cares anymore. But imagine if they had an incentive program. A visionary leader would come in and say, okay, you know what? We're going to have the best products in the industry. We're going to incentivize the improvement, the metrics. You all constantly be asking users, how are you enjoying this product? As it say, and incentivize the engineers who take whatever product they have and make it greater and greater and greater and greater. That would turn Google into a great company. But no, they keep making the same mistakes year after year, and Sundar Pichai does nothing about it. And so they need a new CEO is what they need.
If you had asked me a year ago, who's going to be the first big tech company to come out with a really good AI solution, I would have said Google.
It would have been Google. They even just through the acquisitions that they've made, they bought what was that UK artificial intelligence, DeepMind or something.
DeepMind,
They made all this.
Yeah.
They made some great acquisitions. They had all this talent. They have been talking up AI forever, but they're super timid. Why are they super timid? Because Sundar Pichai is super timid. He's more of the type of person who'd rather not make mistakes than to make bold leaps forward. And while he was dithering and just sitting on all this technology, OpenAI just started shipping stuff to the public, and that's what really changed our whole perception about AI. And now Google's playing catch up. And you know what?
To Microsoft, no less.
Exactly.
The last
really,
company
Microsoft's main company behind OpenAI.
Yeah.
But what Google's going to screw up? They're going to once again snatch defeat from the jaws of victory when they come out with generative AI. They're going to come out with dozens of generative AI programs. Everyone will be confused. Nobody will know what's happening.
Well, they have Bard.
Messaging.
Have you tried Bard?
I have not tried it very much directly, but it's starting to get some really bad press.
It's terrible.
And
give me. I've got Bard right in front of me right now.
Okay.
Give me something.
Help me incorporate more high-protein vegan options in my diet is the first suggestion, and I really appreciate
That's something everybody is asking these
days. They clearly get you.
Yeah.
Leo. They know what you want.
That'll probably be a good result because it's one of the canned ones they offer to people. But
so let's see. Help me incorporate more
Elon Musk in my day-to-day.
More Elon Musk in my podcast.
To my podcast.
Yes. Let's see. Let's see what Google's Bard AI, which is their late release.
Say no.
Here's some ideas. Do a deep dive on one of Elon's companies. Interview someone who knows Elon. Talk about Musk's impact on the world. Compare and contrast Musk to other.
Is he a visionary or a reckless risk taker? Says Bard.
Is Sundar Pichai overpaid? Let's see what it says to that. Whether or not he's overpaid is a matter of opinion. Some people believe he's worth every penny. I personally do. Those who believe Pichai is overpaid point to the fact that he made $280 million in 2019, which is more than 1,000 times the median salary of an Alphabet employee. Oh, you're in trouble, Bard. They also argue that Alphabet has been facing some challenges in recent years, such as a slowdown in revenue growth and a number of daisy. Those who believe that Pichai is worth every penny point to the fact he's led Alphabet to become one of the world's most successful companies. They also argue has he really?
Or did he inherit a successful
He was given one of the world's most successful companies and has run it into the ground.
Well, they just announced that they're going to move the various Google AI units into one division.
This is Ars Technica, Ron Amadio writing in Ars Technica says, shuffling the AI deck chairs. Google's AI panic forces merger of rival divisions, DeepMind and Brain, two divisions that reportedly do not get along. Oh,
Is it going to be Deep Brain or Brain Mind?
Brain Mind. Wow. Sundar says it will help us build more capable systems more safely and responsibly. But if they don't get along, I don't know.
Something is always interesting to remember about what Google's contribution into this space. The transformer technology
that came from Brain,
from Google Research, and that is the T in GPT, generative pre-trained transformer, and the transformer came from Google. So the contributions there have been a lot, but they've been from the different divisions. You've got Google Research, you've got Google Brain, you've got DeepMind. They're all going to form one unit underneath Demis Hassabis, CEO of DeepMind.
And check out this report from Amir Efrati at the well-regarded Information. Alphabet's Google and DeepMind pause grudges and join forces to chase OpenAI. This is not a match made in heaven. Brain was an internal Google thing. They acquired DeepMind. Now they're forcing them to merge, which I think from a structural point of view makes sense, right? That's the kind of thing their CFO, Ruth Porat, would say, well, we have two divisions doing the same thing. We should merge them. But maybe
it makes sense if you're taking a long-term view of this, but obviously in the short term, it's going to be very difficult because Google for so long has operated with, every project is an island, basically.
Yeah.
I think Mike was saying earlier, these people are rewarded mostly on launching new products, apps, different things like that. The maintaining of it and making it work nicely with other parts of Google has not been prioritized in the past, and it's going to be difficult to make that switch if they even want to.
And there have been lots of stories coming out, most recently this one from Bloomberg, about internal questioning of Bard. This is a story written by Davey Alba and Julia Love. Google's rush to win in AI led to ethical lapses, employees say. We were talking about these leaks that are coming out. Shortly before Google introduced Bard to the public in March, it asked employees to test the tool. One worker's conclusion, Bard was a pathological liar. Another called it a cringeworthy. One employee wrote that when they asked Bard suggestions for how to land a plane, it regularly gave advice that would lead to a crash. Well, if you're asking a AI to land your plane for you, I think you've already
got an issue.
I don't want to fly with you.
I think that the Washington Post recently had a great data project called Inside the Black Box, where they took a look at kind of Google's C4 data set, kind of this massive snapshot of all the different data and websites that it is using to kind of train its generative AI programs. And it was really quite interesting.
I have to say, though, maybe instead of saying, oh, they didn't work hard enough to make sure it was factual, we should just be saying, well, don't trust any of these. They're all not designed to give you facts. None of them are designed to give you facts.
If I was to guess what would be the most winning strategy in AI, and I get, again, this is a guess. I'm not an expert in these sort of designs, but where we're going to go with everybody gets hung up on the data and what's wrong with the data and the hallucinations and the lying and all that kind of stuff. What we need are tools where we can plug in our own data and have something that's not the world. It doesn't supposedly have all knowledge known to all mankind. What we need is like an empty vessel into which we can pour every word ever spoken on TWiT, and then we can have a conversation with TWiT.
There are good, useful reasons to use AI. For instance, you submit a bunch of PDFs and say summarize these, or create a presentation out of these. Those work quite well because it's working from a known factual data set. So you're not going to get counterfactual information in there. And we know that works well. I mean, that's one of the, when I was, we were in Genoa we didn't expect to land there on the ship. The storms forced us off course. And what was going to be a 3-hour cruise turned into a nightmare. We landed in Genoa and I didn't have any plans there. So I asked ChatGPT to give me an itinerary. I said, I want a 3-hour walk in Genoa, starting here. What would you recommend? It gave me 8 places to look at. It told me how long it would take. And all of it was accurate and factual and useful. I think probably because I gave it a somewhat constrained thing. I said, well, I'm going to be here. Tell me. It didn't make up any places that weren't in Genoa. Let's put it that way.
I mean, this is already how some media companies are using AI tools. Futurism had an interesting article about how BuzzFeed, I guess right before the fall of BuzzFeed News, albeit this is a different part of the site entirely, was using AI-generated AI tools to generate kind of articles that are all about like, I know what you're thinking. Cape May? What is that? Some kind of mayonnaise brand? And it's an article about what to do in Cape May. And all of the articles follow this exact same headline structure, which is like, I know what you're thinking, but Caribbean destinations are all crowded resorts, right?
Wow.
Or, I know what you're thinking, Brewster? Never heard of it, in an article about Brewster in Massachusetts.
Wow. Anyway, he's getting a lot of money. Google does not seem to be particularly well run. In fact, the panic over the release of ChatGPT and Bing Chat seems to have driven Google to do some things that are worse than mismanaged. I mean, just really wrong-headed. That's not good leadership. I don't know. I don't have anything this much to say about it. It feels like Google has just lost its way. And, it makes it hard because we do a show called This Week in Google. We talk mostly about Elon these days. There's not a lot of Google.
If you love all things Android, well, I've got a show for you to check out. It's called All About Android, and I'll give you 3 guesses what we talk about. We talk about Android, the latest news, hardware, apps. We answer feedback. It's me, Jason Howell, Ron Richards, TWiT DAO, and a whole cast of awesome characters talking about the operating system that we love. You can find All About Android at twit.tv/AAA.